Oh boy, Jeff Veale coming on the summit side of the racetrack, smoking the tires with the injected nitro burner, and Ashley Sanford's car is lit and rolling forward. Got the America's Best Value in bodywork showing off there, and a sponsor that they have had for several seasons. Michelle Sanford standing next to the race car, watching her daughter go down the racetrack. And the dragster cackling its way back toward the starting line. So for the first time in this session, we're seeing two injected nitro burners run next to each other. So far what we've seen is we have seen a lot of runs very strong on the front half. We just haven't really seen anybody put a real full killer pass together. Although I will say that Greco's 546 was very nice looking. We haven't really seen anybody do it in one of the injected cars quite yet. Very strong field of dragsters here, and again, from all over the country. Veale from Stony Creek, Ontario, Canada, and Ashley Sanford from Fullerton, California. 23 years old, as Ashley Sanford has top fuel dreams she's pursuing. Look at that. Beautiful looking in the night sky as they go right to the stripe. 5:39 with a 9 at 276.24 miles an hour for Jeff Veale. A hammer drop out there. 5:55.0, 2:59 for Ashley Sanford. And we compare those two runs next to each other. Veale was 3 thousandths quicker to 60 feet, but then really started to put the gap job on Ashley. 2:51.5 versus a 2:53 to the 8th mile. Then a full 600ths quicker to the 8th mile. And the speed number, 223 miles an hour in the 8th for Jeff Veale. I think it goes 5:39.9, 2:76. That is hateful. 5:55.0, 2:59 for Sanford. And Veale certainly. Dwayne Shields and Jeff Veale coming up next. Veale from Stony Creek, Ontario, Canada. Sits at number 10, went 5:39 last night. Veale's car is known for big speed, and 276 miles an hour is big speed. That's what they did last night. It is the fastest of the dragsters on the property so far. And Dwayne Shields is qualified number 4, went 5:33.8, 2:73. There was one car that went into the 5:20s last night, and that was the Dan Page-driven Arthur Gallant Tune machine. Conditions arguably superior here this morning because of the fact that we don't have the water grains that we did in the air yesterday. Those water grains displace fuel, and you can't burn water, as we say a million times around here, but it's true. Nice burnout there for Dwayne Shields, and the Peak Antifreeze and Coolant sponsor, 2016 Brad Hadman Dragster. And here comes Jeff Veale, the man from Ontario. Caledonia Tire is the sponsor. And the cackle. Oh, the cackle. Unique combustion properties of this fuel: it burns long. It is a slow-burning fuel. That's why we get the header flames along with the overlap in the camshaft that allows that header flame to be blown out of the pipe. We need stock eliminator. Stock eliminator to the lanes, please. Stock eliminator to the staging lanes. Stock eliminator. We need you to the staging lanes, please. Stockers to the lanes, please. So Dwayne Shields inches ahead. Dana Hopewell, the crew chief there, and Jeff Veale, the family car, inching in on the Budweiser side. Come on, boys. Let's see a trip into the 20s for somebody. It will not be a trip for Dwayne Shields. But Jeff Veale goes 5:34.7, 272 miles an hour, a 500th improvement in elapsed time, and those boys got to be happy. That is forward progress. That is a nice, clean run for Jeff. 9:54 short time, 3:59 of the 8th mile at 223 miles an hour, and straight underneath the scoreboard at 5:34.7, 272. Dwayne Shields suffered some tire shake there, and he shut the car off early, 14:07.7. Shields stays number 4, and Jeff Veale, the number 7 qualifier, right smack dab there in the middle of the field.
To bring up the Gas Monkey Energy machine of Alex Laughlin. Alex Laughlin over there on the Summit side. Jeff Veale first to do the burnout. Stony Creek, Ontario, Canada. Caledonia Tire. Jeff Veale is a carpenter. And both of these cars have got injected nitromethane without the supercharger. Very cool. They'll begin to cackle as they roll into the stage beams. Just spoke with Alex Laughlin for a little while during our unfortunate downtime and talked a little bit about jumping out of a Pro Stock car where he was the most recent event winner down there in Thunder Valley and getting behind the wheel of an A-Fuel car. And he says it's mind-blowing in many ways because there is so much less to do in the A-Fuel car. Pro Stock, you got to get on the line lock, got to get in the beams, push in the clutch, get ready to shift, hold it in gear. So much going on. This car, he says, all he has to do is focus on the tree, smash the gas, release the brake. And because of that, he says it feels like it takes forever for the light to come on. So Alex Laughlin left side, Jeff Veale on the right. Hear him loading up on the starting line. Reaction time going to Jeff Veale. That's a great drag race. Jeff Veale gets the job done. 5:42.8, 270. And by a tenth of a second takes down Alex Laughlin. Jeff Veale was 0:37. Alex Laughlin was 0:71. Laughlin with a 5:49.9, 263. Not enough to deal with Jeff Veale. Both racers slowed down from their best qualifying effort, but Jeff Veale moving on, moving on.
Couple of injected machines rolling in now. Jeff Veale out of Ontario, Canada, and Josh Hart, the number 1 qualifier.
We're talking about that red car of Jeff Veale on the Summit side. We're certainly talking about speed. This is a car that has defined itself over the last couple of seasons by booming runs in the upper reaches of the 270-mile-an-hour range. It was in the low 270s in qualifying. During the first round of eliminations, it ran 270 right on the number, if you will, 270 even. Josh Hart, 5:28.1 is a qualifying speed, and Hart, during the first round of eliminations, beat the tough Dan Mercier going in the 5:30s.
Yeah, he's definitely been having good speed for here, but with all of the humidity that's been in the air, it really affects these cars when they're out there on the racetrack, and so that's why 272 was the top speed of the meet coming in here. Looking back at Jeff's career best, he has actually been over 282 miles an hour. And then an injected nitro car. That is getting after it. But, as we talked about earlier, it's ET that wins the races, not speed. If you get off the starting line first, all the speed in the world ain't going to do you any good. Of course, if you're side-by-side at half track, that's when it's nice to have one that runs pretty good down the back.
So Josh Hart with the colors of Advanced Auto Parts on the side of the race car. The team out of Ocala trying to advance.
Josh Hart was almost a tenth quicker in the opening round matchups yesterday. This is second round. 16 cars qualified. These are the 8 that won yesterday. That advanced car will probably be out in front the first 300 feet or so. And then we'll find out if Jeff Veale and Team Canada has enough speed to run him down.
Identical reaction time to the thousands. Hart has wet pipes, and there you go. 5:27.2, 277 miles an hour for Veale, and that is a booming run. 5:27.2, the best of their weekend, and I believe low ET of the meet.
Not quite low ET of the meet. 5:26 was the number one qualifying spot, but Josh Hart at 5:64 and 246. We have a very nice on-high vantage point here, and Josh Hart, when he hit the gas, the car tried to put a cylinder out. You could see it just kind of skipping a little bit. It wasn't dead, but it wasn't happy. The number 8 pipe, as it went down the racetrack, it got less and less happy until it was only running on about 6 when it crossed the finish line. So 5:27 for Jeff Veale. That is stepping up in a big way to go into the semifinals.
Blown alcohol versus injected nitromethane. Jeff Veale in the nitro-injected car, coming in off a great run, booming speed. Going to go side by side with Chris Demke out of California. Demke in the computer game. Peenwright machine. Still looking to get back to their championship form from a couple of years ago. Tore up a chassis middle of last year and really been hunting on some things. Swapped out all the ignition and delivery systems on the car earlier this year and have been sneaking up on it. Getting ready for the Jegs All-Stars in a couple weeks and headed to Chicago. Demke on the Bud side. Jeff Veale on the Summit side. 2 teams, 2 drivers, 1 spot in the final round available. Blown alcohol car going to be leaving hard. Try to hold the lead. But here comes that nitro car. Top end, wind light, Demke, 5:29.1, 2:73.05, and they are fired up on the starting line as Chris Demke is going back to the final round here at the Summit Racing Equipment NHRA Nationals.